All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Baha HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing the work of truth and sincerity. And also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And as you can see, the title of this lesson is going to be It Will Not Tarry, Motb. And in this lesson, I have a few videos here pulled up, 3 to be exact. And I maybe just only go into 2 of them, maybe all 3, depending on the time. But these first 2 videos are very important, man, concerning the Motb and the system that's about to be implemented here in the near future. All right. The apostles, the elders, the bishops, the brothers have been warning about the Motb for years now. And we're finally seeing the manifestation of what prophecy says. And you still have a lot of Israelites out there, bro, who are confused about the Motb. And that's mainly on their leaders, okay? Their leaders, their teachers don't understand the Motb breakdown, don't understand the prophecy, so they mislead their congregation. But life around us is showing all the signs of the Motb about to be implemented, bro, right? I mean, just how things are, bro. You know, tap and pay, you know, scan your hand with Amazon. These things are stepping stones unto the Motb, all right? Unto this digital prison that Esau is getting ready to implement. And Donald Trump could very well be the guy. It's looking like it, okay? He could very well be the guy that establishes this Motb system. We know that he's behind Stargate being implemented here in America, right, with these AI models and trying to lead the world in artificial intelligence. Well, if that happens, then this country as we know it, this life as we know it right now, is about to change drastically, okay? And this is something that I've been quoting myself, for years, saying that life as we know it is about to change drastically according to prophecy, all right? This is very interesting, man. So I'm going to get into this first video here from Dabu 7, which the Apostle Hart did a video on this earlier, okay? But I want to also get into another clip here concerning the Motb system and what this devil is trying to do, all right? So make sure my, okay, here we go.
This is Dabu 7. It seems that we have entered a moment in time where big things are about to change. The currency that you use in life and have used all your life is about to change as well, because they're about to try to digitize this through one big event. To lay out the groundwork for this, they had to go global, and they're about to implement it, and it was all scheduled to begin March 10th, the same day as this Federal Reserve Bank board meeting that is closed to the public. They were going to launch this. They're now saying they're going to sunset this till July 14th of 2025, meaning that we have a window that is opened here of time where they are implementing this brand new way that they're transferring money via cross-border payments and digitizing everything and connecting it to the ledgers, to the blockchain. And this was supposed to be all rolled out on the 10th. I've warned about this many times, but now they've like opened this up to where it expands out, where it's going to be a slow rollout, but it's begun or beginning. They are going to phase out the old way of sending on March 9th. That was what the scheduled procedure was. So now they're giving it more time to be fully implemented and rolled out here globally. This opens the door for that world currency to be rolled out. Now, what Trump's done in the United States is he's already started attacking the fiat currency almost immediately. He came in and he's ordered that they do away with minting pennies. Pennies will no longer be produced by the United States. The nickel will be next, and they'll go right on down the line saying that they cost too much to make, and they're just going to remove them from the system. It's exactly what he's ordered thus far. Now, we have all this talk of the blockchain system being incorporated full scale. And the people that were worried about a CBDC that want to say, oh, Trump signed an executive order against the CBDC, that was just a buffalo. The people that didn't know anything about it. Because with the other hand, he turned around and he gave you blockchain via his Trump coin and backs WorldCoin and is openly stating that they want to be at the forefront of AI and crypto. So he threw a bone to all those people out there that have a small mind and cannot see this for what it is. You had a problem with the CBDC, he signed a piece of paper basically saying, well, we won't call it that, and threw it to you, and y'all took it and ran the other way. In the meantime, this is a full-scale implementation of a global system that's happening. This is where they can transfer all these currencies back and forth instantly, and it doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter the name on any of them, on any of the cryptos, on any of anything, because it's all sent the same way. So in the end, this is a global beast system being rolled out right in front of you. So are you ready? Now get ready for this world currency, because again, once they make this move, it doesn't matter what you call it. They're all the same thing at that point. What's really going to count is what's counted all along. What kind of real money do you got to back it with? Gold, silver. What's really in Fort Knox? We may be in for some big shocks here, but the world is a stage. And one thing's for sure, they're telegraphing right here on The Economist that Trump is here to do that, to kill the dollar and to burn it down through and through and to replace it with the new system. He's even said under his power here, they are looking to reset it all. So you can't reset something unless the old system is torn down or done away with. And this right here is a transfer that they've been waiting for a long time. Many people just not hip to it. Well, get hip to it. It begins March 10th at this Federal Reserve Board meeting. And by July of this year, it will be full scale implemented. So get ready. It's right here in front of your face. Crazy times we're in. Join me on the live streams. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Dabu 77, talking about.
All right, man. So I couldn't have said it any better than what Dabu said. These devils are getting ready, man. As the world continue on in their folly, in their distractions, in their lives, the Lord has the spirit on Esau to move forward with the Motb system, man. You brothers and sisters out there who are confused about the Motb, look, I feel sorry for you, bro. Because once this thing hit, you're going to be really confused about what to do and what to accept. Because your leaders and your teachers have not warned you about this system. I don't never ever hear other camps speak about CBDCs, digital IDs, the Motb overall, okay? Very, very rare. And when IUIC addressed the Motb, it's them trying to debunk what the apostles and elders of Great Millstone teaches concerning the Motb, man. But hey, your blood be up on your own head, man. You're constantly being warned through the Spirit. And you're not taking heed to what's happening. You're about to see some great changes happen in Babylon the Great, bro. As Dabu was saying, this system, okay, they have to get rid of it. What they're going to do to get rid of it, we don't know. But whatever they do is going to cause a global shift, okay? It's going to cause global chaos. And when that happens, these devils will present that MOTB as your savior, as the cure to your situation of you not having food, medicine, a home, a car, whatever it may be. You can get it through this digital currency, right? Just sign up here and we can get your digital ID, which will be linked with your digital bank account, and you'll be good, according to them, right? But this is what they're planning. And Donald Trump could very well be the guy, man, to truly implement this system in Babylon the Great. Keep in mind, he said under his administration, they want to lead the world in AI. And also, I think he said cryptocurrencies, right? So that's their goal. Their goal is to get this thing up and running, man. Stargate is up and running, okay? On his first day in office, $500 billion already shit given to it. And they're working on it, man. Now, this next video, right, goes hand in hand with what he said here in the previous video. I'll play it from the beginning. And as you can see, it says, former AI insider, AI superintelligence coming under Trump. Now, AGI, okay, which is artificial general intelligence, AGI is going to cause massive layoffs in Babylon the Great. And this is what they're going to address here in this video, man, about AGI and then ultimately ASI, okay, artificial superintelligence. This is going to change the game, bro. It's going to change the game. So many people are about to lose their jobs, man. I mean, so many people are. They're about to put AI at the forefront of every damn thing. Because according to them, it's smarter, it's more accurate, you know. They don't have to pay AI, right, to do this or do that. They don't have to pay robots to do anything. It's, you know, that's free labor, right? This is about to get sticky, man. But guess what? When this big, massive layoff happens, they're going to come with that UBI, which is universal basic income, right? To try and, comfort the people, you know, who have lost their jobs, millions upon millions of people. This is very interesting, man. Okay. So I'm going to play about, I'll probably play like 10 minutes of this video because this whole clip is great, right? But I'm going to play probably like 10 minutes of it. But this is very interesting, man. All right. These devils are truly coming forward with this thing, man. And it's beautiful to see. All right. So make sure we have the volume good. Here we go.
Yes, artificial general intelligence. So Ezra Klein over at the New York Times just had a really good interview with Ben Buchanan, and he was a White House advisor on AI and a professor at Georgetown. And he has a prediction that AGI, artificial general intelligence, is coming in the Trump administration. I will say, if you watched our coverage during the inauguration, I'm pretty sure we were both talking about that. And we're like, listen, you know, all of this Doge, everything, it could be a footnote to what the actual story of the entire Trump administration actually is, which is the development of artificial general intelligence. Just as when people go back and write the history of the first Trump term, it'll be the Trump revolution of 2016 and COVID. Those are the two things, probably the most important things that actually came out of those years in retrospect. So let's take a listen here to some of Ben Buchanan's analysis on artificial general intelligence, his predictions, and also some of the major policy implications behind it.
So I've sort of heard you beg off on this question a little bit by saying you're not a labor economist. I will say
I am not a labor economist.
You're not. I will promise you the labor economists do not know what to do about AI.
Yeah.
You
I
were the
believe
top advisor for AI.
Yeah.
You were at the nerve center of the government's information about what is coming. If this is half as big as you seem to think it is, it's going to be the single most disruptive thing to hit labor markets ever, given how compressed the time period in which it will arrive is, right? It took a long time to lay down electricity. It took a long time to build railroads.
I think that is basically true, but I want to push back a little bit. So I do think we are going to see a dynamic in which it will hit parts of the economy first. It will hit certain firms first, but it will be an uneven distribution across society.
I think it will be uneven. And that's, I think, what will be destabilizing about it in part, right? If it were just even, then you might just come up with an even policy to do something about it.
Sure.
You must have heard somebody think about this. You guys must have talked about this.
Yeah, we did talk to economists and try to texture this debate in 23 and 24. I think the trend line is even clearer now than it was then. I think we knew this was not going to be a 23 and 24 question. Frankly, to do anything robust about this is going to require Congress, and that was just not in the cards at all. So it was more of an intellectual exercise than it was a policy exercise.
Policies begin as intellectual exercises.
Sure. Yeah.
This is a kind of like, the reason I'm pushing on this is that we have been talking about this, seeing this coming for a while. And I will say that as I look around, I do not see a lot of useful thinking here. And I grant that we don't know the shape of it. At the very least, I would like to see some ideas on the shelf for, if the disruptions are severe, what we should think about doing. Does everybody move into the trades? What were the intellectual thought exercises that all these smart people at the White House who believe this was coming, what were you saying?
So I think, yes, we were thinking about this question. I think we knew it was not going to be a question we were going to confront in the president's term.
I guess I'm trying to push, was this not being talked about? There were no meetings. You guys didn't have Claude write up a brief of options?
Well, we definitely didn't have Claude write up a brief because we had to get over government use of AI.
See, but that's itself slightly damning.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Ezra, I agree that the government has to be more forward-leaning on basically all of these dimensions.
You sit down with somebody and you start the conversation and they're like, the most transformative technology, perhaps in human history, is landing into human civilization in a 2 to 3 year time frame. And you say, wow, that seems like a really big deal. What should we do? And then things get a little hazy, right? Now, maybe we just don't know. But what I've heard you kind of say a bunch of times is like, look, we have done very little to hold this technology back. Everything is voluntary. The only thing we asked was a sharing of safety data. Now in come the accelerationists. Mark Andreessen has criticized you guys extremely straightforwardly. Is this policy debate about anything? Is it just the sentiment of the rhetoric, right? Like, if it's so big, but nobody can quite explain what it is we need to do or talk about, except for maybe export chip controls, are we just not thinking creatively enough? Is it just not time?
So I thought that was a very good exchange. Our producer Griffin cut that together, because what Ezra keeps trying to get at is, he's like, so did you guys think about this at all? And the answer was like, no, not really, in terms of how it's all going to come. And here's the thing, I don't think very much has changed. Now, there are some great people who are working in the White House, people like Sriram Krishnan or a few others, but that's one person. I mean, is this being discussed at the very highest levels? And beyond that, it's not just up to the White House. This would be a whole of government Congress approach if we're going to even think about rules and guidelines for the future. And I think the biggest worry right now, and this is actually fundamentally what's so crazy about AI, is that the breakthrough is most likely to come, at least in America, in a pre-existing technology monopoly. So if you look at all of these other breakthrough technologies, they come from an outside competitor. They don't necessarily come from, everyone always famously says oh, Kodak invented the digital camera, but they put it to the shelf because they want to disrupt themselves. These guys are all actually aware of that. And they're the ones who are pumping all the money into this tech. And it's not necessarily some new value capture startup or something that would be the break. I think that probably has to do more with AI economics. But I think that's part of why I'm so worried, is that if you give these people who already have immense power, even more immense power, basically control over the whole US labor market, I think that's the really terrifying part behind the development.
There's a lot about this that gives me panic attacks. And listening to that, I listen to that whole podcast, and it confirms my terror, which is that, even the people who are at the bleeding edge of this really don't know exactly what it's going to do to society and don't really have any answers about how to address it. And I think
that's a lie. They know exactly what this is going to do to society. They're the ones doing it, okay? They may present it to you like, oh, well, we don't know, yada, yada, yada. They know exactly what it's going to do to society. It's going to bring hell, all right? When all these people lose their jobs, right? And they can't pay their bills, can't afford groceries, it's going to cause hell, okay? But once again, they will have UBI more than likely there, right? As a cure to their situation. But they need the chaos, okay? They need people to be uneasy, right? And begging them so that they can come with the answer. So these devils are doing this on purpose. They know it's going to cause hell amongst the labor markets. Ultimately, it's the plan of the Most High. But they're doing it to put the people in a situation to where they come begging for that damn Motb. I mean, if you can't see it, then I don't know what to tell you. But they're being very strategic with this stuff, man. All right? Only a matter of time. So here we go.
Everyone really needs to wrap their head around the fact that the social contract is going to need to be completely rewritten. And I don't think that there is, I get that it is hard to fathom what this is going to mean. It feels very like, oh, I use ChatGPT and it's fun to ask it questions, just kind of like a better Google. But what is coming is something profoundly different. And the goal is to automate, to use AGI to basically make human intellectual labor irrelevant. So what does that do to a society? What does that do to the world when human beings are no longer the most intelligent species on the planet? So, the Biden administration clearly didn't have any answers for that. And I don't know that anyone, at this point, there was these different factions in Silicon Valley thinking about AI development, and you have people who were like, the AI safety people and people who are doomers. I'm probably kind of in the doomer camp. And the accelerationists at this point have just completely won. And the idea is just like, we're in a race with China. We're going to throw as much money and, effort into this as we possibly can. We're going to develop it as quickly as possible, even though the problem of what they call alignment has not been solved. And alignment is like a really sort of sterilized word, antiseptic word for how do we make sure that this AI isn't just going to decide to destroy us all or have catastrophic consequences that we aren't envisioning. They haven't figured that out, but they're still pushing forward. And Sagar, you're mentioning, this is going to come likely from some big tech monopoly, unless China does get to AGI first, which I think is certainly a possibility at this point. But the other thing that's different there is that the previous major technological advances, like if you think about the internet, if you think about computers, like personal computers, if you think about nuclear energy and weapons, all of that was developed within the government. So the government also, there was some ability to have a democratic check on what purposes this would be developed for and, a sort of studied approach to it. Not that that is perfect in any way, but when you just are developing it in the private capitalist markets and where the goal is just like who can get there first and who can capture the biggest profit margins, like the impacts are almost unfathomable. And, I talk a lot about the labor market piece. The surveillance piece is also, I think, something we should all be pretty terrified about. And then the last thing I'll say before we get to the clip that specifically talks about the race with China is I think one of the things that's happening with Doge, as best I can tell, is they want to use the federal government as kind of like a laboratory for how many human beings can be replaced right now by AI, even before we get to AGI. So we're getting an announcement probably today that they're working to completely, dismantle the Department of Education. We've already had indications that they're using AI to go through all sorts of data. And, I've seen indications like, oh, maybe they're going to they are cutting the Social Security Administration. Maybe those people on those hotlines are going to be replaced by AI. I do think it is sort of a test lab for how many human beings can we get rid of and replace with machines, and the basic functions still more or less work. So I think that is part of what's going on here too.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next part here. As you said, that specific interview question on AGI and the race. Let's take a listen.
There are a lot of arguments in America about AI. The one thing that seems not to get argued over, that seems almost universally agreed upon, and is the dominant, in my view, controlling priority in policy, is that we get to AGI, a term I've heard you don't like, before China does. Why?
I do think there are profound economic and military and intelligence capabilities that would be downstream of getting to AGI or transformative AI. And I do think it is fundamental for US national security that we continue to lead AI, because we think AI could represent a fundamental shift in how we conduct cyber operations on offense and defense. And I would not want to live in a world in which China has that capability on offense and defense and cyber, and the United States does not.
They want strength and dominance and to see the next era be a Chinese era. So maybe there's nothing you can do about this. But it is pretty damn antagonistic to try to choke off the chips for the central technology of the next era to the other biggest country.
I don't know that it's pretty antagonistic to say we are not going to sell you the most advanced technology in the world. That does not in itself, that's not a declaration of war. That is not even itself a declaration of a Cold War. I think it is just saying this technology is incredibly important.
Do you think that's how they understood it?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. And I don't know. To be honest, I think that Ezra question is incredibly stupid. Like, what, people are just entitled all across the world to whatever product the United States produces? That's absurd. If you guys are so good that you can build it yourself, which they did. I mean, that's the other thing. It's not one thing that we...
I'm stopping there, man, for time's sake. But this whole video is good. But the point of me playing this, man, is to say, hey, look, when this AGI stuff happens, it's going to cause a massive, massive shift in Babylon. So many people are going to get laid off, bro. And it might be protests every damn where, It's going to be crazy, right? But this is all prophecy, okay? And the next video is going to be this one here by Glenn Beck. You must learn to master AI before it masters you, but I'm not going to play it for time's sake. So, I get into this precept here. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, NLT Bible. It says, I will climb up to my watchtower and stand at my guard post. There I will wait to see what the Lord Yahweh says and how he will answer my complaint. Then the Lord Yahweh said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets so that the runner can carry the correct message to others. And this is the job of the prophets, right? The job of the prophet is to carry the correct message to others, all right? Not the wrong message, man. A lot of people are sending the wrong message out, saying that the CHIP is in the Motb. They're going to have to do a lot of explaining, man. A lot of explaining to do, because the system that's coming is built for that CHIP, man, to track and trace you, right? To control your life ultimately. It says this vision is for a future time. It describes the end and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. So this thing is happening, man, at a rapid speed, okay? Almost every week is new information coming out, new things happening, new bills being signed. A new country coming forward saying, we have come this far with AI and how much it helped us out. It's a lot going on. Okay. So I'm going to close out with that, man. Lord willing, it was edifying. All praise Yahweh Bashim, Shabbat Shem Chakadash. Shalom.